Hello and welcome back to the another episode of Daily News Quiz Analysis for IAS Prelims 2025. It is 3rd March today, and in this video we are going to solve some important questions which are very much relevant for your preparation. As usual, before we'll start our discussion, I would like to give the brief introduction about this initiative so that if you are new to our channel, you will get more connected with us. You know, Basically in this video we are going to discuss three types of questions which would be taken from three different sources. So depending upon that, the first set of questions which we are going to discuss here would be taken from the current affairs. You know what we will do here? We will take up the most important articles from the newspapers. We will try to break them down into the simplest language possible, and we will try to derive the possible prelims questions from those particular articles so that it will give the idea which part of the newspaper is important for you, what should be your approach when you are reading these news articles, and how you can expect a possible preliminary question from those particular topics. So this is what we are going to do in the first part of our discussion. After solving questions with respect to current affairs, we will shift our approach to the second part. Here we will discuss questions from the static topics. You know what we will do? We will take up the most important topics from the Indian polity, as currently we are discussing Indian polity. Today we are going to start from today we are going to start our discussion with respect to the Parliament of India. We'll discuss various topics with respect to that, and we'll try to derive the possible preliminary questions which can be asked from that particular topic. So in this way, it will give the idea how actually the questions do come in the exam. After solving questions with respect to current affairs and the static part, we will shift our approach to the last part of our discussion. Here we will discuss questions from the previous year question book. To me, this is the most important part because in here we will learn what is the vocabulary which the UPSC uses for framing your papers, what are the different techniques they follow, and we will try to learn what can be the different methods by which we can solve the questions if we don't have the proper knowledge in the exam, and also we'll try to learn how we can implement this knowledge in the upcoming exam. So this is in nutshell what we are going to do in this video. Now before we will start our discussion, I would like to request you guys, please do subscribe the channel. When you subscribe us, it motivates us to work more hard on these topics and provide you the best information possible. So please do subscribe, do share it with your friends so that they may also get benefited from this initiative. And please do write in the comments what else should we bring for you. Now without any delay, let's have a look at the questions which we had brought today. Here on the screen you can see the question is with respect to gender budgeting in India. Basically this concept, it was in India, it was introduced around 2005 2006. This gender budgeting was introduced. So before we'll go to the context of this question, first we will try to solve the question here, then we will go to the context why we have brought this question. As here on the screen you can see the question says, with reference to gender budgeting in India, consider the following statements. First statement, it says gender budgeting aims to create a separate budget exclusively for women. Even though there is it is related to women, it is related to the schemes or welfare schemes towards women for women, but it is not a creation, it is not like we create a separate budget exclusively for women. So this statement is incorrect. There is no separate budget which is made exclusively for women. So first statement is incorrect. Second statement, it says the gender budget statements provides an analysis of the impact of government expenditures on women. 100% correct. Gender budget, in the gender budget, well, what we will do, what are the schemes which are impacting the woman. For example, what are the schemes, how much budget we are providing for the welfare of the woman, what are the schemes, what is their impact on the woman, what is their utilization, and all that stuff is included towards the woman. That is what gender budgeting is all about. So here the second statement says the gender budget statement provides an analysis of impact of government expenditures on women. 100% correct, nothing wrong with the statement. Third statement, it says the Ministry of Finance is the sole authority responsible for implementing gender budgeting across all ministries. Totally incorrect. Even it is not fair to say that there are it is the collaboration of different ministries, because different schemes are meant for different purposes, and those schemes that purposes for women, it may be towards the woman, so there are different ministries are involved, so there is definitely the collaboration of different stakeholders, so definitely the third statement is incorrect. So with respect to this question, the correct statement which we can frame from here is option 2 only. Now let's come to the topic why we had this why we are discussing this question here. If you would had heard, if you would had followed me during our discussion with respect to the budget 2024-2025 budget, recent budget, we discussed that there were few, we discussed about the gender budgeting, how much money was allotted to the gender budgeting. As we had seen in this year's budget, approximately 4.5 lakh, approximately 4.5 lakh crore rupees are specific to gender budgeting, or specifically allocated to the gender budgeting. And if we will see it there, it has shown this gender budgeting allocation towards the gender budgeting, it has shown a huge, tremendous improvement in it. It has earlier what used to be the allocation, if we will contain it into the percentage, it used to be around 4 to 6%. It used to be around 4 to 5% of the budget towards the gender budgeting. But this year it has been around 8.8% of the budget towards the gender budgeting. So definitely there is increase in it. But the author in this article, he has highlighted a crisis in this. Even though the figures show that there has been increase in the gender budgeting, but definitely there is crisis, there is some issue with respect to that. And the issue which was highlighted by the author was of the scheme, which is Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Yojana. This scheme, Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Yojana. The author here highlights that under this scheme, the allocations which were done by the government are around 1.1 lakh uh, crore rupees, 1.1 lakh crore rupees. So definitely, if we will see the allocations made for the gender budgeting, which was 4.5 lakh crore rupees, out of this 4.5 lakh crore, 1.1 lakh crore will go to the Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Yojana, and it will almost contribute 24% of the gender budget, or we can say which was contributed for gender budgeting, 24% of that will go towards this scheme. Now what is the issue here? Even though we are contributing to this scheme, even though the government is contributing to this scheme is for the welfare of the people. It will provide free food grains to the people. What is the issue with that? The issue which the author here highlights is that earlier, before this year, this scheme was never brought in the gender budgeting. This scheme was never brought into the gender budgeting, but this is the first time this scheme has been brought into the gender budgeting, and it is now, it shows somehow the gray zone here. The numbers which we thought they were very huge, they increased, but what is the real situation? There, this scheme, which was not earlier before considered as a gender budget scheme, now has been introduced in it. This year it has been introduced in it, and allocations to it has been huge. So that's why it shows somehow that money allocated to the gender budget has been very huge, but in reality the situation is more grayer than we thought it is. So this is the issue related to gender budgeting. Then another thing which was highlighted here, there was a discussion about the care economy. Care economy, you would have heard about, what this care economy is. For example, usually who are involved in this care economy, it is the women who are involved in the care economy for the daily works they do at their home, for cooking food to cleaning the house. They are not paid for that money, that work. So according to the data, also it was mentioned that how this care economy, how it impacts mostly the woman. It is not counted in it, the work they do, and it is not counted with respect to that. So with respect to this care economy, there is a survey done by the NSO, which is named as time use survey, and it has been conducted so far only two times. Earlier it used to be it was conducted in 2019, and now it has been conducted in 2024. And according to this survey, the woman, it compared the work done by the men with respect to the unpaid work, and for example care economy, and work done by the woman. It has compared that women are highly involved in it. And also it has shown as a positive trend in it, that now the women which were involved in care economy or in the unpaid work, at home, the time they used to spend in that is now decreasing day by day. This time has decreased, the time which they used to spend in the care economy, or we can say unpaid work, is now decreasing, and they are shifting towards the paid work. This is a trend which has been shown by this report, by the time use survey. And and compared to men, more women are involved in the unpaid work. So this is the whole story why we brought this question here. Now with this, I hope you had understood the question as well as the context behind the question. Now let's move to the another slide and see what question we had brought here. Here the question is with respect time use survey, as we saw that which authority is which gives us the time use survey. It is the National Statistics Office which gives us this time use survey. Now let's understand this. We saw that what are its reports. It has been published so far only two times. First in 2019, then second time in 2024, and it has highlighted how the people had spent their time with respect to the unpaid domestic work. So let's see what does it say. What does the question say? The question says, regarding the time use survey conducted by the National Statistics Office, consider the following statements. First statement: the time use survey primarily focuses on measuring time spent on formal employment activities, excluding unpaid domestic work. No, it includes unpaid domestic work. Basically, it is about it only, unpaid domestic work, how much people would spend time on this, and in the day, it is basically about this. So first statement is incorrect. Second statement: the 2024 time use survey indicates a significant disparity in time spent on unpaid domestic services between the men and women, with women spending considerably more time. 100% correct. But if we will compare it to the earlier data, that they are now spending less time. The time which they used to spend in unpaid domestic work earlier, now they are spending more less time on that, and they had shifted their approach towards the paid work. Third statement: the time use survey data is only relevant for sociological studies and has limited application in economic policy formulation. Totally incorrect. So with respect to this question, the correct statement would be statement 2 only. With this, I hope you had understood the both articles. First one related to gender budgeting and the care work. Now let's move to the another slide and see what question we had brought here. Here the question is with reference to the section 69A of the Information Technology Act 2000. You know why we had brought this question? Because we saw that how recently the PM Narendra Modi was in US, and there is a we can say a newspaper somewhere in Tamil Nadu, we can say somewhere in south, and they had depicted it in a cartoonic way, that the Narendra Modi's hand were tied and he was sitting in front of the Donald Trump. So that did not went well with the government, the people in the Tamil Nadu who are BJP supporters, and they went, and finally the decision was taken that picture was taken off, that information was taken off by the views of this section 69A of the Information Technology Act 2000. Now it becomes important for us to understand, to have the knowledge about the section 69A of the Information Technology Act 2000. So let's solve the question and get more idea about this section. The question says, with reference to section 69A of the Information Technology Act 2000, which has recently been in news, consider the following statements. First statement: section 69A empowers the central government to block public access to any information generated, transmitted, received, stored, or hosted in any computer resource. 100% correct. It is under the domain of the central government, so nothing wrong with it. Second statement, it says the grounds for blocking under section 69A include sovereignty, integrity of India, defense of India, security of the state, friendly relations with foreign states, or public order. 100% correct. And defamation also. Third statement: orders issued under section 60 are subjected to judicial review only if the affected party is a foreign entity. No, it is available to judicial review whatever the affected party would be, whatever the status of the affected party would be. So third statement is incorrect. So by eliminating third statement, we can say that option A is correct, which is 1 and 2 only. So with this, we understood what this section 69A is is related to. Section 69A of the Information Technology Act 2000 is related to. With this, I hope you had understood the topic and also you had got the context of this question. Now let's move to the another slide and see what question we had brought there. Here the question is with respect to the coalition of willing. You might have heard about this term when you would have read international relations. You might have heard about it. Especially it got its significance during the Arab War, we can say, during when USA invaded Iraq. It got its importance. At that time, many countries supported USA's cause, as USA claimed that Iraq is going for the nuclear weapons, and there are the traces of nuclear weapons, which was not what they thought of, and many countries, supported it, especially UK, United Kingdom. They gave 40,000 troops to USA's cause. So now you may ask me, sir, why this question, which was 2 decades back, which was in news, why it is circulating now? What is the reason for that? Recently a video circulated when there was President Trump and President of Ukraine Zelensky. They were chatting with each other, and we saw that how Trump insulted that Ukrainian president, that you are not in a position to negotiate, and he blamed him. So with respect that the Trump, he got huge criticism from the world, from its allies, and also we are seeing from last few months that how Europe and USA, they are they are confronting each other. We have seen there is definitely something wrong with these, with the NATO itself, within the NATO itself. So with respect that the now the President Zelensky, he was invited to UK, and he was, the country, he was highly accepted there. And the UK, then UK proposed 4-point formula with respect to that. So UK proposed this 4-point formula so that the Ukraine's cause would be, cause would be very well heard in the world. So we need to understand what this 4-point formula is. For example, in that 4-point formula, the UK, it highlighted that we should continue impose pressure on Russia. Then we should continue assisting Ukraine, and also when there is negotiation, as we saw earlier, that how Trump in a way neglected Ukraine from the negotiations. Then they believe that Ukraine should always be part of the negotiation. And also the UK government, they mentioned in this 4-point plan the term coalition of the willing, and this is why it came into the news, this coalition of willing, that it was in a symbolic way. The UK mentioned this, that when it was the US's term and they needed the help, we helped USA, we contributed to them, and now it is for USA to give it back to the Europe. So this is why coalition of willing is in news. Now let's solve the question and get the more formal understanding of this term. The question says, the term coalition of willing, frequently encountered in international relations, generally refers to, and directly we'll go to the answer, an ad hoc grouping of states formed for a specific purpose, often without explicit multilateral authorization, such as military interventions or targeted policy initiatives. 100% correct. This would be the proper definition, more accurate definition of the coalition of willing. So with this, let's move to the another slide and see what question we had brought there. Well, this is the last question from the current affairs part. The question is basically about the astronomical phenomena known as planetary parade. So let's solve this question through, let's get the information about this planetary parade through this question. The question says, which of the following statements best describe the astronomical phenomena of a planetary parade? First statement, a celestial event where all planets of the solar system pass directly between Earth and the Sun, causing a series of eclipses. Totally incorrect. Second statement, the apparent alignment of several planets in a relatively small sector of the sky as viewed from the Earth. 100% correct. It is the apparent alignment of several planets in a relatively small sector of the sky as viewed from Earth. So the correct answer to the astronomical phenomena of a planetary parade is this option B. Let's have a look at the option C. It says the rare occurrence where all planets simultaneously reach its perihelion, the point in their orbit close to the sun. Totally incorrect. Fourth statement, the phenomena of multiple planets exhibiting retrograde motion at the same time, creating a visually striking pattern. This is also incorrect. The correct option would be option B. Why it is in use? Because in 2025, this year, it was seen that multiple planets came in same line, and this planetary plate was found. And what would be the next time it would be seen? It would be seen in 2040, after 15 years. So please remember this, what this planetary parade is. A question about it can be asked in the exam. Now let's move to the, now with this we had completed every question which is important for your preparation with respect to your prelims from the current affairs. Now let's move to the another part of our discussion, where we will solve a static or topic question. As from today we are going to discuss the Parliament of India. So today we had brought an introductory question. Let's see what question we had. Here the question says, which of the following statements accurately reflects the nature of the parliamentary democracy in India? So here we need to understand through this question, what is the nature of the parliamentary democracy in India? As let's solve the question here first. The question says the President of India holds supreme executive power, directly elected by the people, and is accountable to the parliament. Totally incorrect. This is not true. Second statement, the Prime Minister and the Council of Ministers are collectively responsible to the Lok Sabha, reflecting the principle of executive accountability. 100% true. This is the basic definition, nature of the parliamentary democracy. Third statement, the Rajya Sabha being the permanent upper house holds primary legislative powers, ensuring stability and continuity in governance. No. Fourth statement, the judiciary plays a prominent role in policy formulation, with the parliament primarily serving as a platform for judicial review. Totally incorrect. So with respect to this, the correct option for the correct option which describes, which reflects the nature of the parliamentary democracy in India, is option B, which says the Prime Minister and the Council of Ministers are collectively responsible to the Lok Sabha, reflecting the principle of executive accountability. So here we understood what the parliamentary democracy is. About the parliament, it refers, we should know that it refers the national representative and legislative body. That is, it represents people and makes laws. Its other functions include holding the executive responsible. Functions of the, if we will see functions of the parliament, first it would be holding executive responsible to the Lok Sabha. Executive is always responsible to the Lok Sabha. Executive is responsible to the legislature, to the Lok Sabha. It decides on various public, another function, it decides on various public issues, and it enforces discipline and constitutional authorities. Enforces discipline and constitutional authorities. So these are few functions of the parliament. Let's recap them. It is it represents people and makes laws. First, it makes laws. Second, it holds executive responsible. Third, it it helps in deliberating on various important public issues and enforcing discipline on some constitutional authorities. So with this, I hope for today this much is important, is enough for you to have the basic understanding about the parliament. So from tomorrow we'll discuss other features of the parliament. For example, what is the relation between President of India and the parliament. Then we will discuss about the bicameral legislation. We will discuss about Rajya Sabha and other important topics associated with all these topics. So with this, let's move to the another slide and see what question we had brought there. Here the question is from the physical geography, as we know, physical geography, and this question was asked in 1999. It here highlights the various volcanic mountains, and the question says we have to match to which country these mountain peaks belong to. As if you would have followed me, you would know whenever such questions do come, I try to avoid the confusion, and I will always try to match them correctly. And that is the case here. Here the question says match Mount Rainier, it is USA, Etna, Mount Etna in Italy, uh, Pericutin in Mexico, and Tal in Philippines. So all the four are matched correctly. So with this, we complete our today's discussion. I hope you would like the video. I hope you would share it with your friends, and I definitely hope you would subscribe the channel. And if there is any confusion, please do write in the comments. We are here to help you. You know, our aim is to provide you the best information possible, which will help you clear your exams. So please do write in the comments. I will try our best to reach out to you guys. Thank you for staying with me. Thank you very much and have a nice day.